What's up, Indies? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, let me just say that I am blown away. Please make sure you can hear me. I'm sure you're already, if you can't hear me, you're already going to be typing, I can't hear you. We have over 50 people registered for this INDIESLIVE audit session today. Therefore, I'm not going to make a lot of chit chat. Basically, as soon as one of you is like, hear you loud and clear, I'm going to be like, let's go. Because OMG, I am so stoked that so many of you are like putting your stuff in and getting our thoughts on it, because INDIESLIVE is one of the things that nobody uses nearly as much as they should, and you guys are killing it. Killing it. What's up, Jan? How's it going? Hey, Greg. Good to see you. We're live in the Indie Pro group. If you are on Facebook, if you are on YouTube, we are, of course, live there or on the INDIESLIVE watch page. So wherever you're at, we're here to meet you. Now, this month in May, we've transitioned back to Indie Pro only, right? Having access to our Wednesdays live sessions. So, but nonetheless, you guys are like, here are all the things. So we're going to be here. I'm going to get through everyone's. I'm committed to it, but there's going to be a lot. So let me go ahead and pull up our page. That would help, right? And I'm going to dig in all these questions. So if this is your first INDIESLIVE, the way that this works is that I basically am going to start scrolling through from top to bottom in the Facebook comments on the INDIESLIVE watch page, which is in your Indiepreneur training vault. And I'll make sure I refresh. But if you want a question answered, that's where you want to put it. Or if you want your audit to happen, that's where you want to put it. You won't be able to post links in the YouTube, and there's some limitations. So make sure that you log into the training vault, go to INDIESLIVE, and you'll be able to post there. So I am super stoked. We're going to dive right in. I'm not even messing around. Let's do this. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. Of course, this might be a little small for you guys. You can always go to the watch page and click through yourself if you like. But let's dig in. All right. So first up is Tom. Hi, Tom. Could you please give your feedback on my band's website? Also, if it works with Buddy System Fan Finder approach, we are playing grunge punk mixed with Russian avant-garde. I'm already so into whatever it is I'm clicking on right now. I'm very, very stoked. Cool. You got the opt-in right at the top. Bam. Get them in right away. I love that. The only thing is that there's no X. I wish I could see your faces, but I can see your faces. It's all good. All right. So we've got a Spotify player right at the top. You've got your gigs here, right? So just knee-jerk reaction. I think this is really clean. I like the font. I think the font is very legible. Obviously, like the spacing even between. I don't know if this is a logo or text. Yeah. So yeah, I think that this looks really good. I don't know if music and gigs would be the first thing I would have present there, but since you have the opt-in here, like I'm going to be like, okay, I'm into it. So let me just open in other tabs the rest of your stuff here. Obviously, you've got all your socials there, right? So, and since this is just your general website and not a fixed landing page, for example, which obviously we'd be looking for there to be like an instant call to action. You've kind of done that with this, right? Which is really, I think, a great thing for a website to do, is that as soon as they get there, if they're new here, like if they're searching for you, they end up on your site and they're wondering how to be involved with you further. Obviously, you've given them an option straight away as soon as they land. So I dig that. Like the black background is always smart, right? If you don't have anything, if you're not sure, what you would put there otherwise, black is always a nice, safe, clean background, especially with white text. So I see that the music and gigs is kind of where, is that your home page? I'm just going to check. So if I click here, okay, it just scrolls me down. Got it. And that is your home page. Word. All right. So all right, so you've got this banner on top everywhere. I wish I could see this photo, but I think that's probably your style. All right, so you've got a bio here, some videos, right? So yeah, I mean, this is short and sweet. I'd say maybe try to get these to look the same. I think that's probably your intent, and something just kind of went awry there. So just give that a check when you go back into there. But otherwise, looks good. You're giving, okay, videos. Wait, let me go back here. So the only thing here is like I clicked on your bio and I was confused because I felt like I'd already seen something like this, but it's because your videos have a lot of copy next to them. I would, if you want to make this a videos page, but you still want to have this kind of descriptor for each of your videos, I would say like make the video the star, right? Put them on the left side. Our eyes naturally as humans track from top left to bottom right. So I would say put the video there first, right? Because this is a videos page. And it might even be good to have it, you know, instead of half the width, right? These are each kind of half right now. Have the video take up 3/4 of it or something like that, right? Really make it obvious that like this is a videos page. This is where you go for videos, right? So yeah, but otherwise I think that that's great. I think it could be cool too to have, you know, with some of our artists that are more, you know, trying to get people to YouTube, they'll have a subscribe button here, which you can generate from, there's many generators online. I would say put a subscribe button either at the middle or at the right here. Even though you've got YouTube up here, just the fact that they're on the videos page, that might give them an opportunity to subscribe to your channel on YouTube. So that could be another good thing, especially since obviously you've got embedded YouTube videos here. But yeah, so that's the only thing I would say about that, right? It kind of, in my brain, when I went to bio, it blurred the two together because the videos page was not clearly a videos page, but it looks very nice. All right. So, all right. And here, you know what? I like this text better bold than I do on, for example, this page where it's not bold. Again, right? Like the video is the star, so maybe that's okay. But either way, I would select one and just have it consistent between the two. However you want these to be displayed, whatever weight, right? Which is the boldness, the thickness. Hey, Hugh. Hugh is a new indie member, and this is his first time coming live. Well, I'm happy you're here. Yeah, so this looks great. I'm just going to read a little bit. Okay, cool. So yeah, you're really bringing in some descriptors as to the, you know, a lot of adjectives about your music, which is always great. Especially like talking about fuzz guitars and manic vocals, right? And then also something about who you guys are, right? What you write your songs about, your personality, that kind of thing. So I also think that this picture probably isn't intended. I feel like you might have cut a band member off over here. But I also really kind of like that there's this space on the right. So, because it kind of drew my eye. But anyway, so I think that's probably an adjustment problem. I'm assuming that this is something that is in the works. So I'm just kind of giving you some feedback on formatting, right? Because it's a good design. It's a good style. I understand kind of who you guys are immediately. So I'm just kind of picking into some of the... you know, the stuff I'm looking at. All right, now I'm confused again. Because, oh, you've got a question mark there. Did that person leave the band? Are they a secret? Anyway. Yeah, so these look very similar, right? And so unless the press kit is something that is going to be hidden, I would suggest either just sticking with this press kit page, right? Because you've got photos in here, you've got some music, right? And you've got some videos there. So I would say right now these feel, I mean, obviously kind of like a duplicate. So we don't want that, right? So I would either, you know, hide this press kit, take it out of your menu and, you know, only send it to interested parties, or change your bio page to be what the press kit page is. Because right now they feel like kind of the same, right? I literally went between the two and thought it was almost the same page. So yeah, that would be my recommendation there. You've got your contact us with a little form. Great. I think that it'd be good to include here, to contact management or for booking and press inquiries, right? If you want this to be something that, fans can send in, you may also want to include something more personal here. Either way, make this clear what this contact is for, right? What is this form used for? Who should be using it? And what should be the context of it? Because sometimes this kind of like general form can do a lot of things that you may not be intending it to do. I think it also could be good for you to use, like a Facebook message button or, something else like that in the contact us. And actually, a lot of artists, instead of having their socials just plastered in the menu, they'll put it in a menu on the contact us page as well, because then fans are like, oh, I can go there, right? And then this contact form can be for more official inquiries, right? So, but overall, like good, good first hit on the design. I like it. Like I said, I think that keeping it to black and white and keeping a really clean font like this is very good. Those are just the tweaks that I would recommend with some of your content on these pages. So, but yeah, great job. Hopefully that was helpful. All right. So now we're going to move on to Jan, who is here on YouTube because I see him. Hey, what's up, Nate? Nate's like, what's up, Indies? Welcome, welcome. All right. So Jan has been implementing quite a lot of changes to his album launch opt-in page since I audited it last time and would love to hear the feedback. Okay, great. Let me go in here. All right. Are there any rules? I like that. That's a good, I like that. I like how that hit me. Just my gut is like, yeah, I want to know what that is asking about, right? Be the first to hear the album and get the free audio-visual experience. Love the background, right? There's some depth to it, but it's also very clean because you're keeping it just to this kind of monochromatic representation of this graphic. So I really like that. Okay, and you've got a sign up button here. Cool. And your pixel is firing off. Beautiful. All right. So, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to read everything out loud because I know you can read. You don't need me to read to you. So, but I do want to know what you're saying. I think it could be good to put a little bit of a bumper, a little bit of a space above this top line and make that padding a little wider. Partially because I try everybody's on a different size screen, so there's really only so much adjustment you can make for it. But if someone is, coming to the page, if they see this stuff right away, their eyes tend to go like headline and then jump down to the like more text, bam, bam, right? So if you kind of if you put a bumper there so that there's a little more space, and then their eye won't automatically jump to that next headline. That's why we have, and that's something that isn't really talked about a lot, but the way that we talk about headline 1, headline 2, right? When we're talking about formatting of a website, headline 1, which is, this like bold kind of font, and especially on a darker background, it's going to attract attention, right? It's a headline. So, and I don't know if you've read a newspaper ever in your life or recently, right? Because I don't know how many of us actually read the paper anymore, but a lot of times you'll browse the headlines, right? And in the same way, people do this on websites. So what I would recommend is that you put a little bit of a buffer above that, give a little more space underneath the sign up button, and then put space above this black or even within this black to bring this communication down below the fold, right? And again, lots of people are on different size screens. So on some screens, that may not even show. And on some screens, it may show even more. But that's what I would recommend so that people can kind of just take in this top bit. And then, if they're still wanting more, they can roll down. But they're not screening those headlines, if that makes sense. So you've got some good quotes here. I like that. I like that this graphic continues down, right? It really gives it kind kind of a parallax feel, or like it's really emphasizing the parallax here. So I really, I dig that a lot. Okay, and so I'm going to kind of skim your copy here like never before. You know, I'm on the fence lately about using things like never before, for example, in copy, because it's a great promise, right? It's a great thing to tell people is happening. But more and more of this kind of content consumption is happening online, especially, you know, with the pandemic, and more and more artists are starting to understand the value of the content. So I would recommend you find a different way to say that's in your name, you know, that's in your brand, that's in your idea, instead of like never before. Something that is, you know, just very true to you, because it just sounds a little marketing-y. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing I would think, just that's a tiny thing, right? But just some feedback there. I love this background image. It's obviously, like, I know that you're writing music. There's a piano there. It's artsy. You've got your notepad there. I love that. But it's still, you know, you've got enough of an overlay where this is still very legible. So that is great. Okay, time. Yeah, so I would also call this something different, right? I understand what you're trying to do. You know, you're telling them like, hey, this is going to unfold over time. But even like something like that, you know, unfolding, or, you know, something that has a little bit more of a descriptor to it, where it's more like an opening or a blossoming or an unfolding, right? That speaks more to like the type of experience it is. So that's one thing I'd recommend. Yeah, here we are again. So I would say with these, basically all of these sections, I would just increase the padding by like 20 pixels. I mean, you can totally, like, whatever your judgment says when you get in there, but I would just increase the padding on all of this stuff. Even though this is just a plain white background, that's okay, because like if you look here, right, if we just look at this shot as someone scrolling through the site, it's very chopped up. And if you add some padding to all of these sections, it will give it a little bit more of a flow instead of this like blocky, chopped up feel. And that'd be a recommendation that I would make for this. I love this like complementary color that you have. It's like this nice powder blue. I really like the contrast between that and this purple. Okay, yeah, and you're talking about your independence, which we always love. And I think it's good for people to understand that you are doing, you know, you, and that there's no one like doing this for you. It makes them happier to support you, but it also like communicates that, you know, you are really in this, right? And it's not like some marketing director at a label somewhere who did this for you. So yeah, I mean, I think the branding is on point. Like your logo / signature goes really well with this this purple background that you have. I love, I think your fonts are great. The color scheme is beautiful. So yeah, I would just say increase that padding. And that's it. Mostly a couple of those little verbiage things, but otherwise I think it looks beautiful. So great job. And nice smiling face. It's always really important to have a good thumbnail, good friendly thumbnail, like right there, right? Or badass, depending on what your brand is. But I think it looks really good. Great job, Jan. I don't even remember. That's not even close enough to what you showed me last time, where I can remember where I can remember what it looked like before. I remember your logo, but otherwise that was just so different. It looks wonderful. All right, so next up is Martin. Hi, Corrin. Looking forward to tomorrow's Indies Live, or today's. I have put together a PDF outlining my upcoming ad campaign for audience education purposes. There's a Dropbox link. Can't wait to check it out. Let's dig in. Calvin II says, added my links via the Indie Live website. Watching on YouTube, though. Cool. Gotcha. Either is fine. And don't worry, if you left them in the comments, I refresh too. Even if anyone here has not yet posted in the Indies Live watch page, which is where the audits, all the links are, you can still do that. I'll refresh it before we end. So don't feel like you missed the boat. So Martin is here on Facebook. Sweet. So we can look at this live together. All right. So close that sidebar. I don't need that. All right. Solitaire. Oh, I like it. That's so cute. All right. Education campaign for May of 2020. In late March. First off, let me just say, props on getting this all into a PDF so I can see it all. This is so much easier than trying to click through everybody's links. So I'm already I love this. All right. So in late March, you released a song, I Know We Will Get There Anyhow, with a live from quarantine video on YouTube and promoted it in the GSA area with both an ad and a post from Facebook. Cool. All right. So this is your ad. Interesting that it's a carousel ad. That is not always the type of ad that someone would select for this kind of thing. So I'm interested to dig more into this. And I don't know, unfortunately, I do not speak, is this German? Yeah, I don't speak German, unfortunately. So I can't read your copy, but I'm sure it's wonderful. So, but yeah, all right. So I like this photo. I think it could be cool if you put a color over it, but all right. So both of these went to YouTube. Got it. Which already is an uphill battle, Martin, because getting Facebook to send people to YouTube is, it's conflicting. They don't like doing it. They would rather show them a video that's already on Facebook. So, but nonetheless, that's just for you to know. That's not I'm not saying you can't do it or it was a bad choice. It's just, it will be more expensive than just getting the video views on Facebook. All right, so to retarget and further educate those who interacted the most with the ad and post above, I plan to post and boost with ads 8 consecutive live at home videos on Facebook. Okay, good. As recurring content each Monday and Thursday. They'll show me playing one song. All right, so I'm going to skim a little bit so everybody can, it's way big. Everybody can totally read it. All right, I believe in rainbows, concerts, died. One of 7 colors of the rainbow. See, look, we already were thinking the same thing. Because you said with each video died in one of the 7 colors of the rainbow. And that's exactly what we're saying about the photo up higher. I love it. All right, and with the post of your last video, you want to engage your audience further with a contest in the right order and win a free ... I like that. Just a quick aside. I know the 7 colors of the rainbow, right? Because Roy G. Biv is a thing. And I actually started with yellow hair with green tips. And then it was greeny blue. And then it was straight up blue. And now it's purple. So all my fans joke that I am rotating through the 7 colors of the rainbow. So what would be next? Next would be red. Probably do pink first. But anyway, that's an aside. I like the idea of rainbow. I obviously like color. I think this is a really clever idea. Oh, I love the branding. I love your font. Oh yeah, this looks great. I'm assuming this is your cover photo. Keep in mind that you're going to want to check out this photo on mobile to make sure that it doesn't get cut off. So just check for that. There's a few places online, like Canva has one. There's a few places online where you can set a template so that you don't get it cut off when it's on mobile, because Facebook doesn't just squish it in. It also makes it taller. It can make things very awkward. So I would just make sure that it's on mobile, because so much of your traffic is going to be on mobile that you want to make sure that they can read it, understand it as well. Yeah, I like this. I like this vibe. Super cool. Yeah, I love how it's colored in. Yeah. This is really neat. I love the idea. All right, very cool. Yeah, overall, I think this is really cool. I love that you're bringing, the colors, and I really dig the font. It's very legible, but also very casual at the same time. It's difficult to find fonts that are those two things. Very legible, almost like with a sans kind of vibe to it, but is then also, like fun, and there's a little bit of a lightness to it. It's not like super hard edges and stuff. So yeah, I really like that a lot. Just confirm for me if you can. I want to make sure that you're saying that you're going to actually post. You said post and boost with ads videos on Facebook. So I just want to make sure, because this one went to YouTube. I want to make sure that you're going to be sending these on Facebook, because I think it'll do very, very well on Facebook, and trying to send it to YouTube may pose a challenge. So, but other than that, this looks really cool, and I want to thank you for putting it all in this like succinct document where I could just look at all of it. That made it so much easier. But yes, I really love your brand. I love the name. I love the theme of this concert series. I think it's all very creative. It's very easy to understand who you are, and I think it's very well done. So congratulations, great job. That wasn't probably a ton of help because it was already so great. Hopefully you got something on that. Okay. So I'm going to check in on the comments real quick. All right, Martin. Yes, you have been commenting, and you said, yes, they'll go on Facebook. Beautiful. That's what I love to hear. Live Producers Online said, Corrin and Circa have the best hair. Well, thank you. I blow dried it and brushed it and everything. Okay, Zeke says the Facebook chat in the Indie Pro page does not seem to be working. I had a post there that got deleted. Oh no. Well, sometimes it shows me weird stuff, and then when I refresh it, it works again. So, just, keep trying, buddy. I'm sorry that happened. Hopefully you can try again and it'll post fine. All right. So let's move on to Dominic. All right. Thanks for what you do. Really appreciate and love the way Entrepreneur empowers. Thank you, Dominic. You're doing a 7-day audiovisual adventure with 7 days of content plus a bonus day. I love bonus days. Who doesn't love bonuses? You're especially interested in having me critique the sales page. Okay, got it. Which is, I'm assuming, your bonus. Oh, wait, maybe that's not your bonus day. No, this isn't your bonus day. All right. So your question is, what is the best time to make the sales offer? I'm worried that putting the CTA on day 7 might be a turnoff for your audience. Would it be better to deliver the CTA on the bonus day once the adventure has ended completely? Do you have recommendations / standard practice? Okay, you've got a lot of questions. You don't have a problem with making an explicit ask, but you want to be strategic about it. I'm worried about appearing too salesy after being very... Yes, don't worry about being salesy. I don't think that's... If you present it in a way that's like, look, this is a cool piece of memorabilia, and I only have this many, and I would really love to share it with you and kind of memorialize this experience. I think you're fine, right? So I wouldn't worry about being salesy. That said, because there is a very... So let's unpack this a little bit, right? I'm worried about appearing too salesy after being very honest, authentic, and real with my viewers for 6 days prior. So all you have to think about is okay, how do I say this in a way, right, that is honest, authentic, and real, And maybe it means you even tell people, right? I've had some artists who are so uncomfortable making an offer that they're like, look, I'm an independent artist, and a lot of us feel like we can't ask people to support our career. But I would love for you to be a part of this adventure with me. I don't have a label. I don't have a manager. I do this all myself. It's just you and me. We're my label, right? And there's something that is very endearing about something like that, and it's very honest. So I would say try to find inspiration from how you've already communicated with these people and make them this offer in a way that is very authentic to that experience. It shouldn't be contrary to it. And I know it's a tough thing to, get through it. In fact, Jack and I will be recording episode 133, I believe, very soon. And we're actually talking about the artist plight with marketing, there's going to be some things in the upcoming episodes that will actually directly address this. So that said, let's get back to brass tacks. I think that there are a lot of different ways to do this. There is no one right way, right? You're talking about best practices. But you know, it really is very flexible. I've seen some artists who will make the offer, like they'll allow people to skip through. And in fact, I believe Katie Thompson actually posted this either in the Indie Pro group or the Indiepreneur Indies group. I saw it yesterday. But she was saying, like, what do you think about like letting people skip ahead if they just want to consume all of it? There are some people who do that. There are some people who will make offers at multiple times, you know, and they'll say along the bottom, they're like, hey, if you want to get a copy of this, you can do so right now. And they'll put it in there. It's not necessarily what we recommend because we really want people to feel as though there isn't a catch to this whole thing. But for some artists, it works fine, you know? So it really just, it totally depends. I know that's not helpful. It totally depends, right? And we say that all the time. But, you know, you could test it out. You could ask people how they feel about it, you know, just have a very frank conversation with them, and be like, how did you feel about this? You know, even after the experience ends, you know, message some of them individually and be like, especially people who like opened all the emails, say like, how did you feel about this? You know? So until you really get to know who the fans are that are coming in through this process and how best to deal with them, that's what I would say. Is just to try things out. All right, so let's just look at the page though, yeah? All right. Oh, cute. This is fun. Real quick, look at the favicon up here at the top, which is that little picture up by the name of the page. I'd recommend getting a favicon in there. It's basically like a miniature version of your logo or, you know, an image of you or whatever. I'd recommend getting that updated. And that's something that you can just do in the admin section of WordPress. You got your little cookies thing. I'm going to accept that. Oh, you got a little language changer. That's cool. I really dig this branding. I love oh gosh, it's skewed. It's just like barely not straight there. I love that. That's really cool. You've got your name here and there. Okay, cool. I'm going to watch this because you say you feel so weird about it. You're so cute. Yeah, Dominic, you are fine. This does not come off like you're uncomfortable at all, right? Like, I'm not feeling like, oh man, he's so awkward trying to get me to buy something. Like, this is cute. I love the background's good. You're obviously like into it. You're smiling. You're telling them what it is. Yeah, you're fine. You don't need to worry about this. This is good. Okay. So claim your artist bundle now. You've got a hand signed limited edition. Yeah, this branding is so great. You've got the bundle here. I like that. Cool. I love this like fan. Yeah, this is really cute. Got a little animation as I go over it. I love that. That's really cute how you can like, yeah. That's really cool. This is, wow. You've really put a lot into this, Dominic. And I'm sorry, I'm just like making like not full sentence comments, but I think it's so great. I think your color scheme is great. I think the thoughts that you've put into, you know, all of your previous days in this artwork and, you know, how you're explaining the value of each of these things and, you know, even all the way up to your initial video, this looks great to me. Like, gosh, you guys are just getting so much better at this stuff. Like, every single audit week that I come back, I'm like, holy crap, people got skills. Yes, Dominic, this looks great. I would say that you're totally fine to make this presentation on this day. I don't think you need to wait until it's over. I think you could probably put a link even in some of the other days, like test out to see how many people would click if you like let them, get some merch earlier, right? Test that out. Even though that's not something, like I said, that we necessarily recommend doing every time, I still think it's something that you could test, especially because this is really thoughtfully done. Like, I don't even need to see the rest of your experience to know that you've put a lot into this, the branding and the everything. I can tell. So, yeah, that's what I have to say about that sales offer. I think you're fine doing it on day 7. All right, number 2, how effective a component would you consider? Let's see. Yeah, the upsell is it's good. It's the same thing. Obviously, there are some challenges to doing that, like one-click upsell thing, and there are benefits to that, but I don't think it's necessary either. I'm really a big proponent of like doing more of the work on the front end of it versus worrying too much about the tech stack, right? Like, we want to do the best that we can with the tech stack, and we want to have a good sales funnel, and all of that's very important. But an element to being a musician and the artistry that goes into, putting something together like this, if you're relying on that and it looks like you are to be the star of this experience for people, then like the technical upsell portions of it, like, yes, there are, places in e-commerce where that makes a lot of sense. And I'm not saying you should disregard it entirely, but if you're having trouble executing it, that does not mean that you should get frozen in action, right? Like, well, I don't know how to do this, so I'm not going to launch this. Don't let that sway you too hard. Because I think that, I really like to rely on the stuff that comes before that process, so that them getting the bundle or an upsell or whatever is, practically a no-brainer for them, So I hope that that's helpful. Okay, and then I'm going to touch on your third question. Do shorter 3-day digital experiences do better than long 7-day ones? I feel like I'd offered real insight and value. However, I sometimes worry 7 days of content might be too much, too many lyrics, too much videos, too much time. You know what I'm going to say? Test, right? Try it out. Run it at the same time. Run A to B. See how many people get through it. See how many people end up purchasing. See how communicative people are. And, it kind of like get a summation of those key components of the customer experience to try, to see like how people respond to it. I don't think like there's not a lot of risk in just splitting it, and seeing how people respond to it. Because in the end, you've got their email, right? And you can always nurture them further, and there's so many more things that you can share with them. So I would say, try one and see how it does. If you don't like it, try the other, or you could try them both at the same time. I know giving you options is not totally helpful, but it always depends on every artist. And I just think that you could try both and see what happens with it. All right, I'm going to move on to Aviv. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to the YouTube chat. Facebook comment got deleted as well. Posted it yesterday on the INDIESLIVE page. Well, what a drag. I don't know why that would be happening. I will flag Andrew, our dev, to see if there is something in the ones and zeros of that page that is causing a problem. I'm sorry about that, guys. Okay. I'm going to keep moving along, but I got my eye on you guys. Okay, so Aviv is here. Excited for today's session. Would love to hear your thoughts and feedbacks on my website and Instagram page. I'm a teenage artist, and my genre is based in bedroom pop / indie alternative. See you later. I'm seeing you right now. Open these pages for you. All right. So I already saw this website, and I don't so funny story, and I'm going to totally put him on blast. Our community support specialist, Kitty, our community manager, I should say, he sent me your site, and he was like, I want a site that looks like this. How would I build it? Isn't that funny? That's so funny to me. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. It's pretty simple, you know. It's a Squarespace site, I think, isn't it? I think I looked into the source code before. Yeah, but anyway, first off, I was really digging how the background and the wall and your sweatshirt and then even a little bit in your sunglasses were all this kind of really monochromatic blend. I really dug that. I love that you've got kind of this overlay of your signature on top of it. Obviously, clean white kicks, like that's all. It's just a very clean look, but it's a clean look in a casual way, which is, again, difficult to do, right? It either looks clean and boring or it looks casual and messy in a lot of situations. So finding that combination of clean and casual is so good, and I think you've nailed it already in the top part. Now, you probably know what I'm going to say, right? You've got a single coming out. Actually, it came out on Friday. Congratulations. I think I want to see a place where people can give you their email right here. That's what I always am looking for, right? Is, within the first load, there's a way that I can be like, oh my gosh, this girl's awesome. I already know it. I don't even need to go any further. Here's my email. Please update me on things. Please send me something. Please let me be involved. That's the only thing that I would say right here. But yeah, I mean, I love your aesthetic. I've already actually looked at all of this. I really dig it a lot. And see, you've got it down here, right? So it's still on the page. So if you really feel as though, I would move that up. Like I said, I think you are on Squarespace. I would just go ahead and move that up, right? And let people, raise their hand even faster. I also really dig this. And guys, if you have a Squarespace site, like some people don't realize that if you create this in an index format, this is what it is. It's pages in an index. You can basically set these menu items to just scroll down. And that's a really nice, clean look. So it's basically a one pager, but it feels, it feels like it's more complex than a one pager. So I think it's definitely a great format, especially when you're first starting out before you get things. In fact, I actually would posit that more people should go this route than making all of these, websites with all these menus and all these pages. And, if you don't have more than 100 users a month, for example, don't stress yourself building build something like this that is like, okay, this is my brand, this is my personality, this is my aesthetic. I've got the bare minimum requirements here. You know where my socials are, you know who I am, you know how to give me your email, and you know how to find my stuff outside my site. And sometimes you really don't need to make it any more complicated than that. I think this is a great, you could sit with a site that just did this for a while and then just have your products elsewhere, have your store elsewhere, whatever. But yeah, I think sometimes, as musicians, we look at other musicians' sites and we feel like we need to represent something like they do. But in all honesty, a site this simple is tight. It just feels like it's just not trying to be anything it doesn't need to be. So anyway, Aviv, I really, really dig this. I already know that I'm going to like your Instagram. Yeah, you have such a vibe. It's so clear who you are. I'm a fan. I'm actually, let me copy this link. And I'm going to save that because I want to go check out your stuff later. Because I'm always just... Yeah, I'm into it. This face, though. See, that's cool. Yeah, I really dig the vibe. I'm so into it. There are going to be some people who don't get this. in the Indies group, and that's okay. I want cookie dough. Oh, girl, we're gonna be friends. I'm just going through your story now. Don't get me on Instagram. I'll never leave. No, everything looks great, Aviv. I think you're doing a really great job. Everything looks like you have a very clear sense of who you are, or who you want to present. And I'm into it. I think it's looking good. I would say just like find another way to get people connecting with you further rather than just watching. Find a way for them to participate. Some of that might be that email, or maybe you invite them to DM you on Instagram for something, right? Like I am me on, or DM me on Instagram to get like my, my cookie dough recipe, right? Like you just posted, like save that to a highlight, right? And then you could just like, when they DM you, you can send them to your highlight or something like that. I think that that's something I would want to see from you, is just like letting people, instead of just looking at you, understanding how they can actually like come in and be a part of you without feeling like they have to put themselves out there, right? Give them that opportunity. But otherwise, looks amazing. I'm definitely into it. All right, Tom, I see your second question, but we are running long, so I need to make sure that I get everybody else's first questions first. First. All right, I see you guys in the YouTube comments. I won't leave you behind. All right, so Alyssa is next. Before joining with you, I was with Savvy Musician Academy and did their 10K fans. Basically, I got a bunch of likes on my Facebook, which I believe are fake or from bots or something. Should I get rid of them, and how? I've tried, but it's extremely hard to get you through 14,000 people. No way. You kidding? Yeah, that would be hard. If I leave them, are they going to damage my engagement rate? My website is this. Okay, so I did also post this in either the Indiepreneur Indies or the Indie Pro group, and I'm sorry, I should know which one it was. But I posted a kind of a solution to this potential problem. And essentially, okay, so if you have a bunch of fake likes, right, we obviously know that that's not great for page engagement. It is going to hurt your organic reach. There's a whole bunch of things there. That's where Greenlight Warmth Boosting can come into play, because you can start filtering out the stuff that is like, ooh, that's not what we want, right? So something else that you can do, obviously going through and removing all those people is very time intensive. There are people on Fiverr that you can hire to do it that are, not that expensive. There is another method of fixing this though, or not fixing it, but like working around it for a time, which is, and this works if you are going to be advertising. It's very difficult to do if you weren't planning on advertising anyway. But if you are going to be advertising, like running a fan finder, you could limit your Greenlight Warmth to people who have engaged with that traffic specifically. And it comes into like some pretty sophisticated exclusions, and you have to be really careful with the audiences for that. But essentially it's going to limit you from advertising to page engagement for the last 365 days or whatever. You're not going to want to do that. Another thing that you can do is go actually to business.facebook.com /your I always say backslash. It's / your page name. And if you go to page insights of your Facebook page, right? And I'm just clarifying because it's not in Business Manager. This is actually on your Facebook page. If you go to page insights, take a look and see what the highest suspects are. Chances are you're looking at Tunisia, Turkey, the Philippines, Indonesia. There's some pretty usual suspects for this stuff. Take a look in there and be like, all right, what countries are taking over that are not where I live and are probably a result of this, and temporarily block those countries visibility, block those countries from your page visibility, and then make sure that none of your ads are including them, and none of your, like if you're going to use Greenlight Warmth Boosting, make sure none of that's included. That's what I would recommend to work around it. It is a difficult process to kind of get your data clean again. I know some indies have restarted their page. I don't know if that's a good idea, right? Like in theory, You said there's 14,000 people. I don't know how many people are on your Facebook page. If it's literally like everyone but your mom because it's a brand new page, then, you know, and I'm actually going to take a look right now. I'll share my screen again, which this is just a cool image, let me say, by the way. So like right now, home. Oh, you've got videos right at the top. Gotcha. Yeah, so right now you're like, there's 14,000 people that came from that. You know, it's tough, but it might be a situation where you want to consider restarting your page. Ugh, right? If these like 2,000 views don't have anything to do with that, if, you know, if you've got engagement on your page that you feel is authentic fans, then those previous things I mentioned is what I would recommend. Because that way you're trying to work around it and clean up your data. So, but yeah, otherwise I'd say you could go to Fiverr. There's a couple of people in the group who have listed ways that they've managed this. So, you know, there's some solutions out there, but the point is that there are solutions, right? And not all is lost. So, yeah. So that's one thing that I would say about that. All right. So let me look at your site now. Yes, girl. Messenger growth tool right here. I am so digging that. And Aviv, if you're still watching or if you're watching back, this is what I'm talking about, right? Look how cute that is, right? It's so on brand. It's like, I love this. Zoop. That's so fun. I'm so into that. Yeah, Alyssa, this is great. It's a really good way to like engage people in a way that is just a little bit more casual than like asking for their email, right? And so for some artists, that makes the most sense. Now, the only thing I would say is that there is a lot happening here. I love this messenger thing, but you're also trying to give me free songs and you also want me to shop right now. So I would give each of these kind of calls to action their due. Usually in a lot of cases, and I've shown some sites that I've worked on before as well, but I will, in fact, let me show you an example. Right? Like, so he's got an app, so that's a little bit different. That's his lead objective right now. His lead objective is the app. But then after that, he's got SMS opt-in, which for some indies would make more sense for it to be email. So let's think about the buddy system, right? When we're first getting into the buddy system, we want them to be introduced or be educated. So I'm going to kind of, this is something he just launched, so I'm sure that's like the thing he's focusing on. But what used to be there before that app launched was this. So this is a permission-based offer, right? This is the step for permission in the buddy system where essentially he's getting the digits, the direct contact info. So that can be, you know, SMS, that can be email. There's multiple ways that is available, but I don't personally consider ManyChat a permission level. I consider that an education level because someone can message you with no intent of allowing you to contact them back. And since Facebook limits how much we can message someone, I don't consider that permission anymore. I used to, but I no longer do. So a message would be even a softer touch than this, right? It would be more of an education thing. And then he's got a permission thing. And then affirmation, in other words, a purchase, right? And he's got a store here. But that could be, you know, that could be your shop now offer. So in theory, if we were to apply that kind of buddy system progression on your site, you know, we would get this here and there would be a message button, message me, like that would be right there. And then as I scroll down, there would be, you know, an email opt-in or this free songs thing that you have. In fact, let me take a look and see what pops up. Yeah, so you could actually put something like this on that homepage with the button for them to sign up, right? As one of your sections. And that would be progressing down the buddy system. That would be permission. And then below that, we'd have your shop stuff, right? And so the idea is that if someone comes to your site, we can maybe assume that they don't know a whole lot about you. and maybe they know a ton about you. So what we want our website to do is kind of like progress them as far as they were supposed to be. So if they are someone who's already at the affirmation level where they've already given you their email, they haven't purchased anything yet, like this allows them to like move through the message thing. They're like, oh, I don't need to do that, and I don't need the email because I already did that, and oh, there's something for sale. You know, the website's kind of stepping them through the buddy system. So that's one thing that I would recommend about this. Now, if we go into, I love this image. I think it's actually really fun how you like drew over it, right? And so it's kind of this like really detailed image, but then there's this like magical thing in the center, and you've got this like very casual drawing, this like light colored shadow that's behind your name and behind those images, and then is this text color. Like the branding colors are on point. Like I get it. It's purple, orange, and this like creamy white. So that's very clear. So yeah, and all of your imagery is beautiful. The color scheme is beautiful. I love the gradient that's on the left and right. You know, I like the button spacing, and that you've got this nice light border. I am noticing that this font is different from the rest of your fonts, but it matches the Spotify one, right? So that's always, it's like, well, which one do I match? So yeah, I mean, I like the overall look. Oh, this is cute. See, but here it is. There's another font here, right? It's in that color. Your colors are consistent, but your font is, you know, when people start rolling through and they see a lot of different fonts, it can feel a little not cohesive. So I would recommend, and this is obviously like a section, right? And so maybe you're just applying that font to this section, or maybe it's just that it's not all uppercase. That's actually the same as this. I'm trying to look. Yeah, I think it is. Interesting. So maybe you've already done exactly what I'm talking about, and it just looks different because it's not all caps, which is interesting because that means that my eye is not, you know, like I'm not any different from another person. It might strike as another thing. Anyway, I get it. Yeah, I like that you've kind of got this like circular punch out, right? So the colors are on point. The messaging is on point. I have a very clear idea of who you are. Italian living in New Zealand. So glamorous. I was born in the U.S. and I live in the U.S. So yeah, I dig that. I think that all of your content is great. I think your branding's on point. I love that even like you've got this very colorful scheme for your social media. I would say that I would urge you to think about putting this in the order of walking people through the buddy system. That would be my call to action for you, because I think the rest of this is pretty on point. I don't think there's a whole lot you need to adjust in it. You might want to make this multiple columns. You might want to put like 2 next to each other, only because this is a very long way to scroll before they can see like another section or another piece of your site. If you are wanting to have all of this on your site, it may be good to have more than one page, so that people don't have to like scroll forever. But yeah, I think you've got a lot of really important components ironed out, and knowing who you are and knowing what your colors are is really important. So overall design is good. I would just say change up the order of things. I hope that's helpful. And yes, please do go in the Indies, either of the Indies groups. I'm pretty sure there are conversations in both that are talking about what to do about those 10,000 likes. All right, so we got Emily. She's got a fan finder video ad for IG and Facebook. She's also taken many IG courses and feel like you need a strong rotating topic wheel, but I'm not on the same page as my partner in terms of interest. I wanted to be more vulnerable about my journey. Ooh, what are you getting as our brand from our page? Girl. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, so this is, come on, Facebook, I get it. Okay. Oh, this is cool. I'm assuming there is 2 of you. Cool. Yeah, that's trippy. All right, so what am I getting from your page? Here we go. All right, so I see that there is family. You're not afraid to speak about political issues that matter to you. There's definitely, you've got some like quote-ish stuff. I do like that you have kind of a either black and white or blue kind of overlay. It's not totally consistent, but I can see that you're putting like a bluish tinge on a lot of this stuff, which is cool. Gives it kind of an icy look, you know? I do think that the aesthetic is a little bit scattered, which doesn't necessarily matter, right? If you're talking about IG from a aesthetic point of view, which, you know, there's a lot of people who are teaching about how your Instagram should look. You know, there are differing opinions. I don't think things matter as much as far as that's concerned. As long as you have the right relationship with the right kind of people, you know, we are artists and we're sharing parts of our life. So I do see why you might feel like it's a little bit confusing from a brand perspective. I think that, you know, definitely if you're going to be doing quotes, like it's either a personal, a thing that just people do, right? Without like a brand communication intent, or it is the thing that they do, you know, like Digital Marketer does it. And, you know, there's a lot of different companies that will post, you know, a quote or two, like every 3 posts or so. So yeah, it does seem a little bit scattered because you've got some very artistic stuff and then you've got some vulnerable stuff and then you've got these quotes. But if that's who you are as an artist, like, you know, then I think it's okay. Right now, I don't necessarily feel like I get a vibe from your IG, which is okay. But if you're asking what kind of vibe I get, I don't totally know, right? I don't know who you are. Now, I want to real quick look. If I look, I'm looking for your website, but it doesn't look like there is one here. Maybe attached to your store. Right. So I'm just kind of diving into it. Now, if I go to your site, I see who you are, you know? And this gallery, very cohesive, right? Now, I know that's not speaking to what you want because you're like, I want to share stuff that's personal, and you totally can. But if you want to talk about like caring about an IG aesthetic, this is what that looks like. I personally don't care about an IG aesthetic. But if that's something that is important to you, then, you know, that's the vibe that I'd be looking for to accomplish that. I know you're like, was that helpful? But that's where you have to make personal decisions for yourself. And you and your partner need to. So either way, just identifying, are we going to like, you know, rotate through these different topics, or are we just going to have an aesthetic and stick to that? It's very difficult to do both without like adding a custom overlay to all of your posts, or, you know, having something that is consistent throughout the post as you rotate through the topics, if that makes sense. So I hope that's helpful. All right, so I've got Daniel. I know this guy. I see this guy on our consult calendar all the time. I wish Facebook would just make that go away. Okay. So this is your profile. Okay. Here's the video view campaign. Here's the older lead gen. Okay, gotcha. So you posted this on, I don't know if you posted what you meant to, Dan, because it's just, oh, it's because I clicked on your dang name like a smart person. Guys, I can tell we're over. See, I'm starting to expire. We're beyond an hour. Corrin's, she's starting to go bad, man. We're going to have to get a new one. Look at this creepy, like, 20s throwback. Well, it's probably more like 50s. Yeah, I love that you've got this like throwback look to it where it looks like an old movie just because of the destruction and the speed of it, right? Like having it not be in real-time speed and this glitch thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, looks like you've got quite a few views on it. Not a lot of comments, which may mean that you've run multiple campaigns on it and they just didn't stack here. So that's not a crazy big deal. I like the vibe of it. Sorry, guys. I'm listening. In case you couldn't, I didn't freeze. Yeah, I like it. It's got this like dirty old school vibe. Just really a bit raw, right? Which is a perfect blend with the video. So I'm into that. I like that. The Orchestra of Cardboard. What a cool name. Okay, so I like the video view campaign. So and this is, how did that keep happening? I swear I clicked on your post and it opened your profile. Okay, this one. Okay, so it looks like you're using Dynamic Creative and I can't see the ad you want me to look at. I'm sorry. I hate when that happens. You think the latter is a better top of funnel? Yeah, I don't know. So Daniel, if you could please post in the Indie Pro group whenever you are back around, that would be great. Travis says, "Hey, how are you?" I'm great, Travis. Thanks for asking. All right, Zeke and Live Producers Online, whatever your name is. I am going to come back to you. I'm not. Holy cow, there's like 15 more audits in here. You guys. All right. I'm going to get through these as fast as I can, but any that I don't get to, I will personally post and address in the Indie Pro group within the next 2 days. How about that? Okay, so we got Laura. All right. Wondering if you can offer some advice on how to run a successful fan finder for a studio page. I'll share the example with you, although it's in Spanish. Okay, so I will take a look at this. Rap with swing, endless flow, no melody. Okay. Yeah, so to run this as a studio or, a manager or for a collective or any of the above is just to explain it in the copy and talk about, that studio's excitement or the entity's excitement about their involvement in that product. That's really all I would say for copy, and then just make sure that your targeting is on point for the right kind of person, right? So if it's a studio and you're marketing to musicians, just make sure that, that's very clear in the ad that you set up. But yeah, I mean, I think that stuff is great. And, you could use as a follow-up perhaps a video of, someone from the studio talking about it and splicing that video back in, right? And having like, almost like when there's director's commentary on your favorite movie, they kind of talk over it, right? But actually if you could like cut to that person and then, so that they can see that there's this individual that had worked on this and then having their voice go over the video. That's one way that you could kind of work into that. But yeah, I mean, those are my recommendations for that. That's the most that I can audit what you sent over. So I hope that helps. Calvin said he just finished his first fan finder, going to be retargeting and starting your Greenlight Warmth soon. Yay! Just wanted you to look over my stuff and give any feedback you might have. All right. And so your Instagram, Facebook, and website. So I'm going to look a quick gander so I can take all three into account. Look at that happy guy. I like that happy guy. Huh? Are you seriously in this video? Are you that guy? Are you the guy that's in the beginning? Dude. What? That's crazy. You are a military brat. I was a military person. Nice. Dude, this is so cool. Well, first off, let me just get over the fangirl thing that you were in that video. I listen to that song like almost on the daily. It's in my Stuff I Like playlist, and I just listen to it constantly. And did you play on the track? All right, anyway, I'm going to get over that. So, yeah, I dig this look. It's funny because I read saxophone, but all I've seen is guitar. Like, if I hadn't read that, I'd be like, oh, look, it's a guitar player. So is that just, you're just multi-talented, or what is that? Because all I see is guitar. Anyway, so yeah, I would say I guess I'm gonna guess that you're a guitar guy. So you've got some music here, right? Again, we've got this white background, very clean. It looks like you don't have 100% black in your font, right? It's not 000. It's like D2, D2, D2 or something like that. And that is always a very nice way to make white and black sites not quite so stark, right? Is to just add a little bit of a grayscale. It's still a very dark gray. I definitely, I think that's cool. I think that's a very good choice. All right, so I'm going to open these up real quick. What a great color scheme. I love that yellow. Like the yellow, the white, and with the name Hope, it's just very, very cool. That's so funny. You got some serious lighting up in there, bro. Very cool. Okay. So and I know I'm not really saying much, guys. I'm just trying to consume as much as I can so we can get to everybody's stuff. Look at this good looking guy. This is brilliant. That guy even said that. I wasn't even reading that guy's comment. I was saying it. Very cool. I like the vibe. I feel like you've got this really like conscious, progressive, positive vibe, and I really dig that. I love these music players. I think that they are really tasteful, I guess. So the only thing that I would say is that like right now, the way that a bunch of your pages are laid out, like if I go to your home, right, and I click on like about, it brings me here. But this recent news thing I also saw on the news page, and I also saw at the very bottom of your homepage, right? If I scroll all the way down here, same thing. So I would, try to figure out a way to not have that content duplicated, right? But overall, like very clean site. I love the color scheme. I really feel like I have a sense of who you are. You've got this positivity. You've, got this like, self-awareness kind of vibe on your IG. I also like the new video for Hope. Looks like it's all very cohesive, and I really dig it a lot. Just the smile. It's so infectious. Every time I see a picture, you're like smiling. So yeah, I dig it. I would, I would take a look at this home structure, right? And if you rewind and look at some of the other website audits we've been doing thus far, like getting, this picture might not need to be that big. Like maybe you've got a way for people to message you or to opt into your email list, right? Even if it came like, before this bio, You know, I would just like, again, apply the buddy system to your website and think about what you want people to know. If you want them to, you know, obviously I reacted pretty significantly to being like, oh, you were the guitar player in this video, you know? So maybe in this case, right, this would be an exception where we would say, put something in front of that that's really just going to slap people in the face when they get to your site. You have something that is, you know, going to be of a little shock value when they get to your site, which is great. But then I would be like, get that email, right? In fact, I would put, sorry guys. I would put the video on like this portion, like 2/3, and then have an email opt-in right next to it. Like, I'm not kidding. I would get people's contact info. Anyway, I think that your branding is great. I love the vibe. I think it's very cohesive. Keep up the great work. All right, so TBAT. Oops, why do I keep clicking people's profile? That is not your intent. All right, so, all right, you're going to make this offer. FanFinder. The messages, though. We just go on stage till everybody's done. I'm the big talker, guys. Like, when we do stand-ups, our team meetings in the morning, I'm always the one that it's like, oh my gosh, Corrin is still talking. Are we going to leave and get to work? I always feel like Kyle's like, come on. Circa's like, we got to get in the day. He never says it to me. I just feel it. So, yeah, this is going long. But you guys deserve it. Like, you're pro members, and we need to get in on your stuff. You're doing the work. We're going to do the work with you. All right, so this is Tony. I'm reading your biz. All right, producer style. Got it. Okay. It's not just plain stupid. All right, let's take a look at this real quick, even though it's not finished. This is cool. I would bring up the opacity on this just a little bit, because right now it looks like it's still loading. Some websites do that, right? They, like, their first significant paint is this like white stuff. This is funny. I like your personality already. Okay, so you have this crooked thing too. Where are you guys building this? More than one of you is using a very similar thing, I think. This is funny. I like this a lot. Are you inquiring on behalf of yourself or someone else? That's interesting. Okay, I'm not going to keep going through this. I like this vibe. I think it's really funny. Okay. So let's go back to your main question. In addition to private messages, you got music and producer types, blah, blah, blah. Does this offer lack specificity? I don't think it does. I think it totally makes sense because, like, okay, Basic Printer, right? Jesse Gillen Walters, who is one of our indie founder coaches and has also been on the podcast, and he works with IndieX. He has people who are total, like, synth and gearheads in his audience, right? Like, one of his audience interests is Sweetwater. You know, they're people like him. And some of his fans are just people who like eclectic music. So I don't think that it's a bad idea to create things for a segment of your audience that is very distinctly interested in something that is maybe elevated or different from the majority or the rest of your fans. I don't think that's unwise at all. I do think that the radio buttons is not stupid, but it is, I think another way to do that would be checkboxes, where people can check the things that they want. They don't have to choose one, right? Because we're trying to avoid that arrest of choice. So I would say, like, let them check it. And if they're really into it, it's just like, check, check, check. And you could do that with, you know, even, MailChimp. You could have like an additional content kind of thing where they can opt in and out of certain pieces of what you're doing. I think that would probably be the best way to do it, because then it's even something that you could share with your regular fans and with your producer fans. And if they're not interested in those portions of it, they just don't sign up for that, you know? Like everybody for Corrin's Corner, right, which is on Saturdays, in the Indies mailing list, basically we invited people to say like, hey, raise your hand if you'd like us to email you when, you know, to remind you about Corrin's Corner on Saturdays. And, you know, people were able to just like opt into that portion. So now we don't send the whole list, you know, an email blast when Corrin's Corner is going to go live, because, you know, 16,000 people don't need to know about that. The people who raised their hand said they want a reminder. So that's what I would recommend you do with these. Yeah, but overall, I think it, you know, it's a great idea. I'd love to see what you do with it in a further audit, because I think it's going in a cool direction. All right, Mike. I'm going to check in on poor Zeke and live producers. They're just like, oh man, everybody else. All right, I'm going to get to these questions real quick that are in the current chat. Because they tried to post and were not able to, and I feel bad. So let's check that out. All right, Zeke. Corrin, these lives are always so much fun with you. Well, thank you, sir. A few weeks ago, you gave some helpful suggestions when you looked at my squeeze page, wondering if you could look over the first 3 pages in my member onboarding sequence to see if they make sense, if you do anything different, or if anything is confusing to the offer, is not intuitive. Don't worry, it's all free. Just keep declining. And the people should be handling with a fake email or something. Okay, gotcha. So here is the site. This is Juniper Douglas. I already like the vibe. You guys are getting really good at like the branding part of it. I know I'm like 98.5% sure that this is a Squarespace template because this font. This is cool though, this Douglas. Yeah. So I remember we were talking about that. All right. So you want me to look at I'm assuming that it's that this is going to lead me to where we want. Okay. It's thinking. Wait for it. There it is. All right. Here's how the next 3 days will work. I like that already, that it's like, here's the expectation. All right. My username and password have been sent here. Huh? This is fun. You know what the problem is, Zeke? It wasn't this fun until I got here. Like, and maybe you're leaning on your ad more to do that. If your ad is as fun as this, where it's got this like tongue-in-cheek kind of vibe to it, and like, but that was not totally the vibe that I first got just coming to your page, right? Because there's pictures of you and oh, this is different. I think it's going to home. Oh my goodness, what is actually happening? This is your home page. Guys, where is my head today? That's very strange. I feel like that's not what I first saw, but maybe it is what I first saw. Or maybe it's because I'm already signed up and I can't go back and show you what I was talking about. Anyway, I'm thinking about when I landed on that page and there were some still photos of you and I think maybe her. And it was almost kind of serious. It didn't have this like really expressive, entertaining kind of feeling to it like it did when I went through and clicked there. So yeah, that I wish I could go back and show you, but I think it's because I already entered my information that it's like, nope. So, but yeah, I mean, that might be an opt-in thing, right? Also, like, let me know what the what the ad or the invitation to that landing page looks like, right? Which I won't be able to audit it today, but let me know, like, does it have that fun kind of element? Does it have this like really expressive, artistic kind of thing? Because when I first got to the landing page, there was just those 4 images. And it definitely was not nearly as expressive as what I'm seeing now, or even what I saw on that confirmation page. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents there. I hope that's helpful. I'm going to check in and see if I can see Zeke's comments real quick. Yeah, it is. The video is very expressive on the website. I'm really into that too. Travis says, do you offer one-on-one consultations? We do have consultations, Travis. They don't, I am not on the consultation rotation, just because of everything else. Both Circa and I are not on consultation rotation, but are very competent IndieX staff do take the consultations. They're in the Indie Deals section of Indie Pro, and they're very competent and can absolutely help you. All right, sorry, just scrolling through comments. All right, so hopefully Zeke actually was able to see everything, because I'm not seeing any feedback from him now. So, all right, let's get through the rest of this. All right, Mike, doing a fan finder, 1 green light warmth boost. Still working on what to do with a permission campaign. Here's my landing page, pretty basic, but I like basic. I like basic too, Mike. Sometimes. And especially because you say it's pretty simple, right? It's like, oh, okay, easy. Cool. So I wish this were a video, or I wish there was a little bit more, but if you are doing the work on your ads sending people here, or the email automation, or whatever, well, no, this is an email. So whatever it is that you're doing to send people to this page, as long as the work has been done and the heavy weight has already been lifted by whatever it is that's in front of this, you can get away with this simplicity. My landing pages are all pretty much this simple. There's a little bit more imagery. There's a little bit more of I'm just more of an expressive artist, hence purple hair, right? But I rely a lot on what happens before that landing page. And my landing pages are pretty basic. Like, if they're there, they already know what they're here for, right? And so that's fine. But you really have to make sure that they understand what they're getting into, why they're here, how they got here, who you are, because this page is not going to do any of that work for you. So, but that said, right? I mean, it's not necessarily a problem. I'd say you could probably take, since you have nothing else down here, I would take this line out and just make it so that everything is above the fold, including your logo, because it's actually a really cool logo. But yeah, other than that, I get it. Yeah, I don't think, I don't really see anything to change if you're keeping it this simple. Just make sure that everything in front of it is very, very clear, and that nobody's like not sure what they're coming to that page for, if that makes sense. All right. So we can check out this ad, first campaign. It is direct to song through Spotify stories, currently getting CPC of like 35 cents, which seems very bad. 35 cents is not very bad. Is it very expensive? Yeah, that's expensive, but it's definitely, I've seen campaigns run a lot higher for direct to Spotify, depending on, genre or whatever. So I wouldn't say that it's crazy. I would say though that if you are going for IG stories, what I have seen do best is not videos like this. Because, okay, so think about like how a fan finder is, right? We recommend like doing something candid or having something that has a pattern interrupt. There's definitely something a little pattern interrupt about the fact that, the video is flipped and moving the opposite direction. But otherwise, like it just doesn't grab people's attention in the same way that if it was a video of you playing, or if it was, something that was a little bit more drastic, right? Which even with calmer music, right, we still want something that's going to be captivating for them to listen to at least 15 seconds, right? So that's what I would say here, is that it needs more injection of you. You know, I definitely, I get the vibe. I get what you're trying to do. I'm not being, I'm not saying you're being flippant about it. I do think though that can heavily impact your cost per click, because this in and of itself is not very engaging, to be honest. I think it looks cool. It's just not for if you want a discovery, right? This is a great video for perhaps your existing fans. I just don't think it's a good suck them in for new fans to get them over to Spotify. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Instagram Fan Finder, simple 2-minute video using to generate an audience of 95% video viewers for my next single, out May 22nd. Ooh, it's coming up. Oh, it's so exciting when people release singles, which is so funny because I've never been a fan of singles. And then I started releasing singles myself, which, by the way, I have 2 singles coming out on Friday if you want to check them out. But it's just, now it's fun. I'm like, oh, that's like in 3 days. Like, it's just, it's just fun to get excited for people now. So you're getting 12 cents, 95% views, and 10 cents, 75% views, which is pretty dang good. $5 a day. Yeah, that's really good for a $5 a day budget. You're getting 17 cents, 95% views. Oh, wait. Yeah, this is 2 minutes. Okay. Those costs are still fine. But for 2 minutes, it's not, if you were getting that on a 3.5-minute video, I'd be like, dang, work. On a 2-minute video, it's probably pretty normal. Might even be a little high, but that's okay. Because at $5 a day, it's harder to get good costs at $5 a day than if you were running like $20 a day in a lot of cases. Okay. You're most interested in a US fan base, which I 100% recommend. Your plan is to run a direct to Spotify IG story ad at the warm audiences you're building when your single comes out. Yep. Yeah, it does sound like a good plan. It's almost exactly what I'm doing for some of my stuff. So I'm running when my singles come out, I'm running IG story ads for to cold traffic, as well as running it to my warm audience. And I really end up using the same creative for both. So I don't think it's a bad idea at all to be generating as much warmth as you can, especially because chances are, if they like one song from you, they probably will at least check out another one, right? So that's something that I definitely, I think it's always a good idea to get warmth up if you can, because it communicates to the platform even more what type of audience is going to respond to this ad, which can help it optimize faster. And there's a lot of different things about that. So yeah. You said, would it be too soon to run a lead ad at my warm audience of 95% viewers with a contest / free March offer for joining my SMS mailing list? You might have trouble converting people from 95% views of a 2-minute video on IG to SMS / mailing list. But test it. I do think that you might want to put another video in there. Where these 95% video viewers get another video from you, and if they watch 75% of that, then you invite them to something. I think you'll probably have more success putting more things in front of them. But you can always test it, right? We always say that, right? We make our recommendations and then people do what they do. And so I think that could be kind of the option for you. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is kind of a cool format. Like it's very simple. It's like a lyric video. It's very intimate and close in, and I dig it. All right, cool. I'm going to look at Joe here. SoundCloud, Bandcamp. Yeah, Joe, sorry, this is an audit session, but I will answer this question quickly. Bandcamp, in my opinion, is just they do not offer anything to a musician that they cannot offer to themselves. I know that there's an argument for discovery on Bandcamp, but the data doesn't actually really back that claim. It's not like Spotify. Spotify is very much a discovery platform. Bandcamp, not so much anymore, right? And so if you have things for sale on Bandcamp, obviously, like, they're gonna, take a commission, and there's a whole bunch of things that I just don't think are actually serving the purpose of indies. And so it's not my favorite thing. Mike said, sorry, I gotta go. Bye, Mike. Thanks so much. All right, so Live Producers Online, he was not able to post. So I'm giving you permission to tag me in the Indie Pro group with your question. Make sure to add the caveat, I wasn't able to post this for live, and I will specifically address your question because we had that glitch with the Facebook comment thing. I don't know why it was happening to you because it looks like plenty of other people could post, but I totally do know that, there is definitely, we've had glitches with that Facebook comment plugin before. I don't know why. It's just, tech. What are we going to do? So, all right. I am looking through comments just to make sure. Okay, so last call for alcohol. If you, the audit, I'm going to close audits, obviously, because we are done. But if you have any last minute clarifications that you need on your audit, please do feel free to drop them in the comments. We are over, but you guys are totally worth it. And, I want to make sure that anytime that you post for a live or that you show up for a live, you feel rewarded, because I think it is like one of the most valuable things about your Indie Pro membership. The training's great, but like being able for us to be able to connect with you and make sure that, all the trainings are clear and that you're getting the help that you need to really make the most of it, that is important. So, all right. So I don't see any more questions or comments. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I have like 15 messages waiting for me, so I need to jet, but you are great. And keep shipping, keep working, and we will see you next week. All right. Bye, guys.